on the OSU-Cascades, that was a project that had been approved, not for bonding, but I believe it was a cash approve of about $12 million back in the 2020 session. That budget didn't happen. So what we had to do, I don't want to get too wonky, but here's what happened with the bonding capacity. We deauthorized a couple projects that weren't going to happen. The Lane County Courthouse, a couple community college projects, because they need to get local match to do that. So that freed up a little bit of capacity in our ability to issue general obligation bonds. But when we looked at the projects, what we ended up prioritizing were the three science facilities at OIT, PSU, and U of O. Because with how academia is changing with COVID, we wanted to prioritize existing buildings for renovation and prioritize science, because those science labs will still have to be important even if there's more distance learning in the future. So the three science buildings, and then we approved the project on OSU's campus in Corvallis, because they had a substantial private philanthropic match of $35 million. And so those projects rose to the top. So it wasn't so much about Cascades as we had limited capacity. We made choices for the higher ed projects. And then we went forward with the capital project because it's in the works, and we wanted to make sure we were keeping people working in the city of Salem. And we just frankly ran out of capacity based on everything we had to do. So I think that there's a lot of support for the Cascade campus. We certainly want to come back in the 21 session and consider it. Higher education needs to understand how things are changing. And we hope the HEC and the institutions will come back and really look at their capital requests based on what could possibly be reduced enrollment in the very near future. So that's the kind of the general conversation that happened on higher ed.
One of the things is that basically the students at OSU Cascades have been levying a fee on themselves for quite a while for this building that now it doesn't look like it's going to get built in time for some of those folks who have paid that. And that was put up against the philanthropic millions that were coming into the main OSU campus, and that it was a matter of dollars versus sort of intent, that they feel like they're run over by the bigger campuses because the total match was bigger. Is that fair, or?
I don't think that's fair. I mean, there's just tension in how much capacity we have to bond, you know, OSU is going to have to go back and have that conversation with students of what that means in terms of going forward. So I don't think that's a fair assessment. Although if you're a student at OSU Cascades, I'm sure I can understand why they feel that way. But the renovations at the other campuses, as well as creating an art space in Corvallis, where there is currently not one, was a compelling argument for some of my colleagues. I personally believe we have to continue to support the Cascades campus, and hopefully we'll have a chance to do that next year.